Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning to ma'am.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, okay, ma'am.
Alhamdulillah, okay, miss.
Good, Miss.
Alhamdulillah. Let's start our lesson today by saying Bismillah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Now we will continue our meeting today. Previously, have you filled out the attendance list in the WhatsApp group?
Don't miss.
Okay. Have you all read the material in Schoology?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
then
miss.
before I explain further about this normal distribution material, are there any characteristics of a normal distribution?
I miss. The first, this distribution theory has the same mean, median, and mode. And therefore, the distribution is often called unimodal. The second, the distribution curve is always symmetrical with a bell curve. The cusp of the curve is the mean value. This value is right in the middle of the curve, while the distribution of the data lies around a straight line drawn down from the midpoint. Third, the mean or value and the standard deviation value will determine the shape and location of the distribution.
Thank you for the answer, Naswa. That's right. The normal distribution is also known as the Gaussian distribution. This distribution is widely used in various fields of statistics, and most of the hypothesis testers assume the normality of the data. The purpose of the normal distribution is to find out the opportunities that are seen from the average and standard deviation, and to determine whether the data taken is normal data or not. For example, weighing 30 wafer roll drinks to find out the data from the weight is normal data or abnormal data. Then I will show you a PowerPoint and explain more about normal distribution. Statistic, which is a normal distribution. Okay. For the outline presentation, there's our application of statistics, definition, normal distribution curve, normal distribution formula, value of Z, and table of Z, and bibliography. Before we move to the materials, I will tell you about basic competencies and learning objective. For basic competencies, there are 3.6 is explaining characteristic of normally distributed data related to normally distributed data, and 4.6 is solving problems related to the normal distribution and drawing conclusion. For learning objective, these are after following the learning process, students can understand the concept of curve normal. The second, student can identify problems related to the normal distribution and draw conclusion. And the last, student can solve problems related to the normal distribution and draw conclusion. Application of statistics. Distribution, or the normal distribution, is very important to learn, especially in analyzing statistical data. With data taken at a random and normally distributed, it will be easier to analyze and predict and draw conclusions for a wider scope. The normal distribution is widely applied in various statistical calculation and modeling, which is useful in various fields. In determining the probability distribution, a z-table of the normal distribution is needed. Definition. Normal distribution is one type of distribution with continuous random variables. In a normal distribution, there is a curve or graph that is depicted as a bell shape. The normal distribution is also known as the Gaussian distribution. One of the equations contained in the normal distribution is related to the density function. This following is a density function in a normal distribution. Normal distribution curve. These are the shape of the curve of normally distributed data is as follows. The normal distribution has a mean equal to 0 and the standard deviation equal to 1. The following will explain some examples of the application of the normal distribution. Normal distribution formula. F of x equals 1 over sigma square root of 2 times p and times e the power of minus half of x minus mu over sigma the power of 2. For description, p is constant with a value of 3.14159 and e is exponential number with a value of 2.7183. Mu is the mean of the data. Sigma is the standard deviation of the data is normally distributed. Okay, z value. The value of z-score is a measure that determines how much distance a value from the observation of a set of samples a value is to its average in standard deviation units. The z-score will be at a point on the flat axis of the normal curve. The z-value can be calculated by the following formula. Z equals x minus mu over sigma. These are the table of z. In the left side is for minus normal distribute data, and for the right side is for positive normal distribute data. So the example is the average productivity of rice in Lampung in 2009 was 6 tons per hectare, with a standard deviation of 0.9 tons. If the area of rice field in Lampung is 100,000 hectares and rice productivity is normally distributed, our tentative data, so determine the following. The first, what is the area of the rice field that has a productivity of more than 8 tons? And second, what is the area of rice field that have a productivity of less than 5 tons? And the last, what is the area of the rice field that has a productivity between 4 and 7 tons? For the question number 1, we add up the z-value of x equals 8 tons using the formula z equals x minus mu over sigma. So the answer 8 minus 6 over 0.9. So the answer is 2.22. And for the question number 2, we add up the z value of x equals 7 tons using the formula. The answer is 1.11. For the question number 3, we add up the area under the normal curve to z equals minus 2.22. With the first step is to open the table Z and look at the cells in the middle of row 2.20 and column 0.02. The number is 0.01321. And if it is converted into a percent, it becomes 1.321%. And after that, we add up the area under the normal curve to z equals 1.11. The first step is, like before, to open the table z and look at the cells in the middle of row 1.10 and column 0.01. The number is 0.86650. And if it is used as a percent, it becomes 86.65%. So the answer is the R of paddy fields, whose productivity is between 4 and 9 tons, is 86.65% minus 1.321% equals 85.329%, or 85.329 over 100 times 100,000 hectares equals 85,329 hectares.
Okay, does anyone have any question?
Miss, I want to ask, what is the standard of deviation?
Okay. Standard deviation or standard deviation is a variability calculation that determines the width of a normal distribution curve. The standard deviation determines the width of the normal curve. The smaller the standard deviation value, the more point the curve will be. In addition, the standard deviation also describes the distance or general difference between the mean and other observed data. Now, I will divide you into two groups. Each group will work on one question. To solve or answer this question, you can discuss it with your group, but write down the answer individually. Any question?
How long does it take, Miss?
I will give 20 minutes for group discussion.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, then group 1, please presentation the answer.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm a representative of Group 1. We'll present the result of our discussion for question number 1. There are 300 students who take the exam. The average of the test result is 70 and the standard deviation of the test result is 10. If the test result data is normally distributed, then what percentage of student get A if the requirement to get a score is more than 85? The answer is sin 70 10 x equals 85. X determine z in bracket x greater than 85, z in bracket x greater than 85 equals 1 minus z in bracket x less than 85 will be calculated first from z in bracket x less than 85. So z is equals 85 minus 70 divided by 10 equals 15 divided by 10 equals 1,5. The Z value for 1,5 is 0,9332. So Z in bracket X greater than 85 equals 1 minus Z in bracket X less than 85 is 1 minus 0.9332, or the answer is 6,68%. Inan,
Okay, now from group 2, for group 2, please presentation the answer.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm a representative of Group 2 will present the result of our discussion for number 2. An airline company based on experience know that the distribution of the number of passenger will last passenger every week on the certain route approaches the normal distribution with equals 15 times 0.5 and equals 3.6, the probability that in a certain week there is an event of loss of 20 switches in the answer is the normal distribution equals 15.5. The normal distribution equals 3.6, x equals 20, thus z equals x.
Now we can conclude that the normal distribution is a probability function that solves the distribution or spread of a variable. These functions are generally represented by a symmetrical graph called a bubble curve. When indicating an even distribution, the curve will peak in the middle and slope in both sides by equal values. Like other distribution theories, in probability statistics, the shape of the curve and the value of the probability distribution are determined by the number of parameters. For this distribution, there are two types of parameters that are used to reference, namely the mean or average values and the standard deviation or okay guys, we will stop here. Thank you for your attention and enthusiasm in studying this material. Before we end this meeting, I remind you to follow the COVID-19 health protocol, namely washing your hand, keep social distancing, and always wearing a mask. Let's pray together before we end this meeting. Prayers begin. Finish. Thank you for today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And don't forget to do homework.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss. Okay.
Okay, see you next week.
See you, Miss.
See you, Miss.